Hello, my name is Barry. Today I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm going to read two books today. A short bit, page 10 out of this book, and then the daily reflections for October 21st, 2025 from this book. On page 10 of this book, as Bill sees it, it says, "Out of the dark." Self-searching is the means by which we bring new vision, action, and grace to bear upon the dark and negative side of our natures. With it comes the development of that kind of humility that makes it possible for us to receive God's help. Yet, it is only a step. We will want to go further. We will want the good that is in us all, even in the worst of us, to flower and to grow. But first of all, we shall want sunlight. Nothing much can grow in the dark. Meditation is our step out into the sun. Then there's a quotation at the bottom here. A clear light seems to fall upon us all when we open our eyes. Since our blindness is caused by our own defects, we must first deeply realize what they are. Constructive meditation is the first requirement for each new step in our spiritual growth. So, as Bill sees it, this book, what does it say here? What's it say on the cover? The AA Way of Life, selected writings of AA's co-founder, Bill Wilson, no longer anonymous. Selected writings of the co-founder. I get it now. So this, what I just read, out of the dark, the self-searching is the means by which we bring new vision, action, and grace to bear upon the dark and negative side of our nature, etc. And then the quotation, a clear light seems to fall upon us all when we open our eyes. Since our blindness is caused by our own defects, we must first deeply realize what they are. And then it gives you the references of where those came from as being the selected writings of AA's co-founder. The first one came from the 12 by 12, page 98. And the second quotation was from a letter in 1946. Long time ago. So, what's the daily reflections book have to say for today, for October 21st, 2025? Nothing grows in the dark, it says. We will want the good that is in us all, even in the worst of us, to flower and to grow. That's from As Bill Sees It, found on page 10. With the self-discipline and insight gained from practicing step 10, I begin to know the gratifications of sobriety, not as mere abstinence from alcohol, but as recovery in every department of my life. I renew hope, regenerate faith, and regain the dignity of self-respect. I discover the word "and" in the phrase "and when we were wrong," promptly admitted it. Reassured that I am no longer always wrong, I learn to accept myself as I am with a new sense of the miracles of sobriety and serenity. Period. The end of the reading. I wonder if I've got any more clarity on this. I discover the word "and" in the phrase "and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it." So I recognize that as being part of step 10, I believe. So the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, down here towards the bottom, which I doubt you can read. I'm just showing you that I have it right here. Step 10 of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous says, continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. I discover the word and in the phrase, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So this person is saying, with the new hope and regenerated faith, some dignity of self-respect, and now this new discovery of the word and in that phrase, is that telling us that continuing to take personal inventory is maybe, like he was saying in this book, just a bare step, just the first step, besides the sunlight thing? It says, self-searching is the means by which we bring new vision, action, and grace to bear upon the dark and negative side of our natures. With it, so that sounds like self-searching is this self-inventory. We take another daily, what's it say? Doesn't it even say daily? What's step 10? Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. That's to your own discretion, and I've been recommending, I guess, at least nightly, if you can manage that. Take a look at your day, see what was good, what was bad or wrong or unhelpful. See what was helpful and what was not helpful. And then as you're sleeping, maybe you can meditate and sleep and formulate some kind of way to make it better the next day. And then the next day, which I'm going to say is promptly enough, promptly make these corrections. So, before I get wildly off the subject again, like yesterday, which I consumed some caffeinated coffee, and holy crow, did that get me excited. Where are we at? Oh, with this, self-searching is a means by which we bring new vision, action, and grace to bear upon the dark and negative side of our natures. With it comes the development of that kind of humility that makes it possible for us to receive God's help. Yet it is only a step. We will want to go further. So this, like I just said from step 10, made a list of all that's step 8, step 9, step 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So the continuing to take a personal inventory, yet it is only a step. We will want to go further. And then I was curious if I've gained any insight here about this discovery of the word and promptly admitted when we were wrong. Take that first step, look at your stuff in the morning, in the noontime, in the afternoon, in the nighttime, in the evening, whenever it is. You've got the goods, self-searching, you've done that part. Now, yet that's only a step. We will want to go further, and admitted promptly when we were wrong. Okay, so that's, I get it now, that just looking at our defects, because it says here, a clear light seems to fall upon us all when we open our eyes. Since our blindness is caused by our own defects, we must first deeply realize what they are. Know your enemy. That's something from a tactical training thing I've read somewhere or heard or something. I don't know what the caffeine content here is. We're going to gamble. Making continuing a personal inventory and promptly admitting when we're wrong. What good is that? What use is that? It's the 10th month, so that's the 10th step. So we got that. We've discovered this word and. We've found out we've got more faith. What did it say? Regrow faith, regenerate faith. We have renewed. We got bunches of new stuff. That's awesome. What's it say here? I renew hope. We've got renewed hope. That's an awesome thing. Hope. Regenerate faith and regain dignity of self-respect. I discover the word and. Reassured that I am no longer always wrong. I learn to accept myself as I am with a new sense of the miracles of sobriety and serenity. So right away, my critic and judge wants to just twist this all up into some kind of negative thing about reassured that I am no longer always wrong. That's okay with my censor up here. But then I want to catch this. I learned to accept myself as I am with a new sense of the miracles of sobriety. And that's a good thing that it has a comma in there, because learning to, here's the thing that I think they're pointing at on the positive, constructive side of things. Learning to accept myself as I am. So we've been all this month talking about the 10th step. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. And yesterday I made a suggestion that maybe it's only these several things that we keep running into: selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. And they just keep showing up in our inventory day in and day out. Like it said, as Bill sees it, that's just a step if we're just looking at it and perhaps even writing these things down that we think might be some kind of troublesome item in our life or inventory. And then maybe with renewed hope and regenerated faith and some dignity of self-respect, we start to try and fix these things that are wrong. And ideally, maybe, as it says in the step 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. How prompt is promptly? Is that in the moment, in the minute of it actually the wrong occurred in? Is it 2 weeks later? Is it 7 years later? Is it 8 minutes? I don't know. It's promptly. Use your own judgment. And what I've found is that if I'm able, well, okay, every situation's different. Well, great. Which situation? A lot of times, if I'm, here, let's go right back to selfishness and fear. If I'm discussing something with somebody, say I'm a mechanic and I'm retired now, but this would come up frequently, that there would be a blueprint with specifications and tolerances that, here's a guide. It needs to be this big and that small and, whatever. And you got this much room for slop and mistakes or whatever. So say I've created a part from the blueprint. It's close, and now I'm checking for verification to make sure that it's within the tolerances and it can be accepted as a valid good part, say. And back when I was drinking, I would make mistakes, obviously, because I wasn't at my full potential. I would either be actively drunk at work or hungover or sleep deprived or some kind of deficit from the alcoholism. And so what's the point? Promptly admitting. How long is prompt? Well, I would try and explain why I thought I was right, and somehow the tolerance on the blueprint, which is black and white or blue and white or whatever you want to call it, it's printed, and here's the room. This is what you get. You can be this far here or that far this way, and that's it. There you go. No questions. If it isn't in there, that ain't good or something, right? So I'd be belaboring. That's why I brought up this selfishness and fear thing, that this defect would come up over and over, where I would selfishly try and put forth a point even though I'm wrong, and my defense is thin, and the other person that I'm conversing with points that out, and then I get all ugly because I'm afraid of losing something. Respect, my job, say, or whatever. It's just some kind of fear. So, what the heck? Step 10, continue to take a personal inventory. So, once I got sober and I still had that same job, I would still make mistakes, but a big difference is that I would promptly admit it and accept my punishment right then. Because what I found, this is where I'm getting at, is the promptness in a lot of situations. If you're having a conversation with somebody about something, and you feel this selfishness coming over you, that you want to win this fight in your name or whatever, you want the points, the victory of some kind of disagreement, and what maybe fear is driving that. You're afraid of losing respect from this, or whatever it is. It's some kind of fear. And it creates a lot of friction and heat and disagreement and argument starting to brew, and tempers are, getting raised or lowered or whatever. Number one, that's a serious threat to our sobriety if we don't do something about it. Okay, and so say it's Monday and I did a bunch of things at work, and I had one of these conversation / argument disagreements with somebody, and I didn't right away in the moment say, "Oh, you're right, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Let's go with your idea." And then I go home and I can't sleep because I'm thinking about this and what's going to happen or whatever. That's a good time to start drinking again. That would be one of these things that might push somebody like me back into seeing if a beer would fix the problem because I can't sleep or whatever. So, I get some sleep, I go back to work, and I tell this person what I just said. It's like, "Oh, you're right, I'm wrong. And I understand now, and let's go with your idea." It's better, usually, or at least for me, what I found is that while you're having that conversation is to not be wrong. And if you are wrong, promptly admit that you're wrong and go from there. I don't know if the other person's idea is good or not or whatever, but it's like, at least get it across that, "Oh, I understand your point, I think, and I'm wrong, and I do agree with that. I'm wrong in this," or however it goes. Because then hopefully that later that night you'll be able to sleep, because you've got that weight off of your, balance scale of, happy day, ugly day thing. It's balanced out. You go home with a clean conscience, and you're able to sleep, and you're not thinking about getting loaded because you can't sleep. Okay. Promptly. "I think it should be this way." The other person says, "No." And you say, "You're right, I'm wrong, let's do it that way." And wipe the slate clean. It's a fresh, clean playing field now, or whatever. I didn't have a larger point behind that, except for maybe I do have some better clarity on that. And when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. The reading said that this person discovered the word and, like they had never seen it before, or at least never heeded it, that continued to take a personal inventory and blah, 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 whatever. No, now they understand it's continued to take a personal inventory, comma, and promptly admitted it when we were wrong, period. So that, and I'm suggesting that the prompt admittance to wrongs, what's happened to me now is that I'm not wrong as much as I used to be, because over years and years of practicing this kind of thing, I'm running out of time. I want to say that, well, because of my laziness, I don't want to be standing around saying I'm wrong about something, so I take my time on the front end of things to make sure I'm not going to be wrong. So I've got a bit more patience up front about dealing with things. So overall, that self inventory thing, it is a good tool. Anyhow, thank you for coming by here today. I'll get back with you later, probably tomorrow. Goodbye. And you're doing good, so keep up that good work. This stuff is hard. Goodbye.